Hey everyone. So, have you ever stared at a circuit diagram and just felt your brain kind of short circuit? You're definitely not alone. Today, we're going to tackle some of those big, confusing questions about basic electronics and turn them into simple ideas you can actually get your head around. And let's just get the big one out of the way first, because I know a lot of you are probably thinking this. If your entire world is code and software, why in the world should you care about the physical hardware? Isn't that for the electrical engineers?
Well, here's the thing. They're really two sides of the exact same coin. When you understand the hardware, you can write way smarter, more efficient software. I mean, think about trying to optimize code for a tiny IoT device to make its battery last for months. Understanding the electronics isn't just a bonus, it's a superpower.
Okay, so let's dive into the nitty-gritty. We're going to start with the two concepts that trip pretty much everyone up at first: voltage and current. What are they really, and what's the difference?
The easiest way to think about voltage is to imagine water in a tank. Voltage is like the water pressure. It's all that potential energy, that force just sitting there, waiting to be unleashed. And here's the key. You can have pressure in the tank even if no water is flowing out at all.
So if voltage is the pressure, then current, well, that's the water that's actually flowing through the pipe. It's the movement, the flow of charge. And it can only happen if there's a path for it to move and, of course, some voltage there to give it a push. This table here really lays it all out. Just remember this. Voltage is the cause. It's the potential for work that gets created inside a battery. Current is the effect. It's the flow you get when you actually connect something. You can have a battery sitting on a table. That's voltage without current. But you can never, ever have current without voltage. Okay, so we've got voltage doing the pushing and current doing the flowing. What stops everything from just, running wild? Let's talk about the unsung hero of every single circuit out there: resistance. It sounds completely backwards, doesn't it? It's like, why would you build a brand new highway and then just cover it with speed bumps? But you'll see that without resistance, electricity would be totally useless and honestly pretty dangerous. And this is the big takeaway, right? Resistance isn't the bad guy, it's a tool. It is the brake pedal in our circuit. We use it to control the flow, to make sure our components don't get fried, and even to do useful work. That heat from your toaster, that's resistance. The light from a light bulb, that's resistance too. And this is the perfect example. You know when your laptop charger feels a little warm? That's its own internal resistance at work, literally turning a tiny bit of that electrical energy into heat. It's a fundamental property of, well, everything.
So, we've met our three main players: voltage, the push; current, the flow; and resistance, the brakes. But how do they all work together? How are they related? For that, we need the master key for all of basic electronics.
And this is it: Ohm's law. It looks super simple, but this little formula, V equals I times R, is the absolute foundation for figuring out pretty much any basic circuit. It's the rule that connects all three of our players together.
And the really cool thing is, with just a little bit of basic algebra, you can flip this formula around to solve for anything you're missing. If you know two of the values, you can always find the third. It's like a Swiss Army knife for circuits. Let's give it a try.
Okay, time for a little pop quiz. Let's say you've got a circuit with 12 volts of push and 6 ohms of resistance trying to slow it down. How much current, how much flow are you going to get?
Well, we just grabbed the right version of our formula. Current equals voltage divided by resistance. We plug in the numbers, that's 12 volts divided by 6 ohms, and boom, the answer pops right out. We get 2 amps of current. See? It's that simple.
Now check this out. Let's really see this relationship in action. In this first circuit, we've got 10 volts of push and 10 ohms of resistance. Our formula tells us that's going to give us exactly 1 amp of current. Got it? 1 amp. Now, for our second circuit, we keep the voltage exactly the same, still 10 volts of push. But this time, we've jacked up the resistance all the way to 100 ohms. And look what happens to the current. It plummets to just 1/10 of an amp.
So what's going on here? The force pushing the electrons is identical in both circuits. So why is the flow, the current, so dramatically different? What does this tell you?
And there it is. That's the secret. More resistance means less current. They are inversely related. When one goes up, the other has to go down. The brake pedal is what determines the flow. Simple as that.
All right, so we've got the players, we've got the rules of the game.
Now let's put it all together and figure out what makes a circuit actually do something and how we measure the work it's doing. For any of this stuff to actually work, you need three things, no exceptions. You need a voltage source, the push, you need a complete closed loop for the current to actually flow around, and you need a load, some kind of resistance to control the flow and do something useful. Break any of those rules and you either get an open circuit where nothing happens or a short circuit where things happen that you really don't want to happen.
And finally, how do we measure all this work being done? That's where power comes in. We calculate it by multiplying voltage times current, and it tells us how fast energy is being used. The unit is the watt, so when you see a 100-watt light bulb, it's not just brighter, it's a measure of it consuming energy way faster than a 60-watt bulb.
So we've pretty much nailed down how to control electricity when it only has one road to go down. But this leads to the next big question, the one that opens up a whole new universe of possibilities. What happens when you give the current a fork in the road? What happens when you give it a choice? And that, well, that's where things start to get really, really interesting.